What's going on, everyone? Based on recent reports with the Washington Wizards, it looks like they might be in the steps of a rebuild. Now, obviously, Kyle Kuzma is a piece that may or may not get traded. They are talks that they want to keep him, and then you hear another report that's like, well, they're willing to trade him, but it has to be for the right price. They don't know if they're going to be able to keep him. So he's very likely to be a candidate that ends up getting traded, that ends up leaving the Washington Wizards. It's very likely his time with the Washington Wizards is coming to an end. But also, because of recent reports, it looks like he's not the only forward that may be on his way out from the Washington Wizards. It looks like Rui Hachimura is also a trade candidate right now, and the Washington Wizards are willing to field trade requests for the Hachimura, which I think is very interesting. Because what this does is it kind of signals that the Washington Wizards are looking to rebuild, maybe retool a little bit, but what are they really going to get? Now, obviously, Hachimura is a guy that it could turn into something quite fantastic for the right team, the right situation, the right environment. I mean, he's got 6'8", he's good size, power forward, small forward. He's a guy that's already averaged 13 points a game per his career. And he's a guy that has a ton of upside, right? He's only 24 years old, so he's still very young. And he's a guy that could really be a nice rotation piece for many teams. Now, personally, I don't think the Lakers have enough to go get him. I know that there's lots of talks about, Kyle Kuzma. If there was a way ever for the Lakers to get Hachimura and Kyle Kuzma, I would do that immediately, right? If you could get both of those guys, they're both young enough to be here now and the future, I would do that in a heartbeat. I think that both guys, you got the defense, you got the shooting, you got scoring, you got a little bit of everything. Now with Hachimura, there is questions about his health, right? Like, can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the basketball court? But he definitely is a guy that would be a fascinating acquisition for the Lakers. But what this does signal is the real likelihood of Bradley Beal being traded to the Lakers. Like, if Washington does go this route and they do trade essentially everybody, one, is Bradley Beal going to want to stay there? Is he going to want to hang around and stick this out and go through another rebuild? Or is he going to end up saying, you know what, it's time for you to trade me, right? Like, if they end up trading Hachimura and they end up trading Kyle Kuzma, unless they trade them for a more ready now piece, which I don't know what that piece would be, but like, if they could find a way to get like a more ready now piece, or maybe package the two for like some star or something, or a borderline star somewhere around there, then sure, I guess maybe Bradley Beal would say, okay, yeah, I'll stick it out. I like these pieces. Let's see what we could do. But in reality, I don't see them getting a return that would entice Bradley Beal. Right? Like, I think very likely they're going to get, first round picks. They're going to get some draft picks. They're going to get some assets that could be beneficial for the future, but not right now. And if you're Bradley Beal, now you are officially available to be traded. What do? Do you really want to stick this out and ride it out? I mean, it was very likely if a team had salary that he actually liked, he would have went there. I mean, he said it himself. The only reason he re-signed with the Washington Wizards was because there weren't any other options out there. And he even had an interview before he re-signed where he talked about how basically that he's not against leaving. He's not against leaving the Washington Wizards. Sure, would he like to win there? Would he like, a star to come to him rather than him going to a star? Because it's one of the things that he stressed. He talked about in the interview with, I believe it was Taylor Rooks. He says, like, you hear all the trade rumors and it's always me going somewhere. It's never somebody coming to me. And at times that's frustrating, but he said, I understand it, And so if you're Bradley Beal and Washington is starting to blow everything up and they're trading, Kuzma and Hachimura and Kristaps Porzingis, and they're trying to get whatever they can for these guys, you would imagine that you'd want to get out too. And there's not really many destinations for Bradley Beal. One, I don't know how many teams would actually trade for Bradley Beal. Two, I don't know how many teams actually can trade for Bradley Beal. And 3, how many teams could trade for Bradley Beal that makes sense for the Washington Wizards? Because his contract is insane. He has injury history. He has some concerns and some questions in that regard. If you're the Washington Wizards and you're doing a rebuild, you're not trying to take on a bunch of long-term salaries, right? You're trying to get as many draft picks as you can get, have cap space going forward, and then try to get, young talent, things like that to go forward, right? But if you're trading with, say the Suns, just for example, you're probably like, who are they giving you? Who are they giving up? Like, what are you going to take on Chris Paul? Like, no, that doesn't fit. Like, it doesn't work. What team is going to say, man, Bradley Beal is the missing piece we need. Let's go get Bradley Beal. Unfortunately, the Lakers are probably the only team that would actually do that. Also, Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. So therefore, Bradley Beal can dictate where he goes and where he wants to go. And any team that feels like he's not going to want to come here, if he says like, I want you to trade me and I want to go to the Lakers, the Wizards are kind of in a tough spot. Yes, the Wizards could play hardball, and pull, the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, but why? Get off of his contract, get some assets, let him be the Lakers' problem, and then move on. Get what you can for Hachimura, get what you can for Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis, everybody. Get the Lakers 2 first. If you can, go get Max Christie, right? If you're the Wizards, I personally do not want the Lakers to trade Max Christie, especially for Bradley Beal. I love Max Christie, and I think he has potential to be a real, at least rotation guy, solid starter in this league and for the Lakers. Really like what we've seen from him so far, but it's the Lakers. And if we're being honest and we're being fair, the Lakers will do whatever it takes to go get Bradley Beal. They'll give up both first-round picks. They'll unprotected. They'll give up Max Christie. They'd probably even give up like an Austin Reeves or something if you really wanted them to. And so if you're the Wizards, I could absolutely see them doing something where it's like, both first, Max Christie, and Russell Westbrook for Bradley Beal and maybe another piece. Right now, if the Lakers could, maybe you could squeeze out Kyle Kuzma, or maybe if you could get, Hachimura, like that would be great. But I don't think I think in reality, Washington is going to want to get as much as they can for those two guys. And then Bradley Beal is kind of more of just like, we're rebuilding, so let's get off of his contract long-term, free up the cap space, get the Lakers 2 first, let's get a young player. Maybe you have them throw in like a Lonnie Walker too or something, because now you have cap space. So maybe if you like Lonnie Walker, you're like, okay, well, we could sign Lonnie Walker, with some of the cap space that we're going to have. I'm just saying, like, the Lakers would give up what they had to go get Bradley Beal. Personally, and I've said this before in other Bradley Beal videos and just other videos in general, I want the Lakers to go the depth route. I don't want them to go get another star. I think you have plenty. You just need a solid, like, if you could get 2 solid starting level rotation guys, I think the Lakers are set. Like, if you could go get a Bojan Bogdanovic and an Alec Burks, I think the Lakers have a real chance to make some noise, right? Because this team is already playing pretty good, right? They've shown the capability of contending night in and night out against all of these teams, no matter who it is, right? And on top of that, still got LeBron James playing at a high level. Anthony Davis, if he's healthy, he's shown that he could be arguably the best player in the league. Russ has been really thriving and playing great. You go get like 2 solid shooters put around this team, and I think this team is off to the races. Not just that, but you go get 2 sort of rotation level starters. That allows a lot of the guys that are starting right now to kind of fall back in place, right? Because you got a lot of guys that are playing roles that they shouldn't be playing. Like, Lonnie Walker's not supposed to be your 3rd best player in the starting lineup. He's supposed to be like your 5th, if that, when in reality, he's probably best as like your 6th or 7th best option. Same thing with Austin Reeves, things like that, right? Like, but if you go get, say, an Alec Burks and a Bojan Bogdanovic, you could start those 2, Dennis Schroeder, and then you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. There's your starting 5. Well, now Walker, unless you'd have to give up Walker if you got Alec Burks. But, let's say Austin Reeves, Max Christie, Thomas Bryant, Winning Gabriel. Like, all these guys now fall into that other role, and you'd still have Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. That also gives Russ more talent to kind of gel with guys off the bench, right? Rather than it's just kind of like Russ and all the scraps. Now you actually have guys coming out and and being able to play these roles. Like, I think if you're the Lakers, that's the better approach than going and getting another star like Bradley Beal. Does Bradley Beal make us better? Sure. But it's just, I don't, how is the fit going to look? Can he stay healthy? I mean, you have Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis that are both kind of, not the healthiest players. Bradley Beal's contract is insane. Like, towards the end of it, you're paying him like $60 million a year. Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense if you're the Lakers to go that route. Now, obviously, the Lakers, one, will do it because they love to star chase. They love to big game hunt. Two, they would look at it as like, well, LeBron's only going to be here so many more years. We need a piece for the future. So now we got Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis. And then when LeBron James leaves, we can go get some other pieces to put around these two guys. That's probably how the Lakers would look at it. But I think it's very interesting that we're starting to see all of these reports that the Wizards are essentially blowing it up. That the Wizards are really considering trading all of their guys, all of their starting players. And if you're Bradley Beal, like, what's the next step? You're going to stick around and it's not like they're having a great season anyway. It's not like they're really good anyway. So I don't see that being the case. I don't see them being in a position to where it's like, okay, well, we're going to trade all these guys and we're going to keep Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's going to be happy. Bradley Beal's going to be in a great place. Like, I don't see that. I think realistically, if they end up trading Hachimura and they end up trading Kyle Kuzma, I think they end up trading Bradley Beal, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if they end up trading Kristaps Porzingis for whatever they could get. His contract, he has one more year, I believe, after this season. So I could see teams maybe taking a chance on him. I just, the more it's looking, the more it looks like the Lakers are waiting for Bradley Beal. We keep getting constant reports that the Lakers have this pie-in-the-sky dream, that they're waiting it out for Bradley Beal. We got a report even like last week where they said, that the Lakers really believe and they're trying to sell LeBron James on the idea of like, we'll go get you a Bradley Beal or a Damian Lillard, something like that. And now you're seeing the Wizards starting to give up their talent. For why? Why else would they do that? Unless they can find a trade that actually is an upgrade. But who is that? What is that? And then if Bradley Beal, does he want to stick around and wait? Like, I don't see it. I could see him saying, okay, you're trading Kuz, you're trading Hachimura, trade Porzingis, whatever. Okay, well, it's time to trade me too. I need you to unload me. Go trade me to the Lakers, get what you can from the Lakers, and let's make this thing happen. I really could see that happening. I would not be shocked at all if Bradley Beal is a Laker by the trade deadline. I'm not saying it happens. I don't want it to happen, but it would not shock me in the slightest. Not in the slightest if that ended up happening. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. What do you think? Do you think this is kind of a sign that that Bradley Beal is going to the Lakers? Do you think that they're just trying to see what they could get for Hachimura? Doesn't necessarily mean that they trade him, which is true. Kyle Kuzma, they're going to see what they do. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear it. However you feel, let me know down in the comment section below.